To be honest, the reason why Captain America Civil War is number 6 on this list is because for a split second, this movie had me believing that Captain America was going to kill Iron Man. This movie builds the tension between Iron Man, Bucky, and Captain America to such perfection, and made you believe every side had a valid point, that when it came to this moment, I wasn't sure that Captain America, of all people, was going to hold back. And in my opinion, that's a great accomplishment for a Marvel movie. Other than that, this is a really good movie. The government laying down the Sokovia Accords in response to their destruction that the Avengers leave behind them makes total sense. And with the different ideologies of each Avenger, it makes total sense that some would reject this and some would accept it. Which gives us the perfect setup for a confrontation. There are only 2 problems. The first one being that confrontation, as fellow YouTuber Ryan George puts it, is like a kid emptying out his toy bin and just smashing them all together. This is just basically a big pillow fight. Even Wanda calls it out in the middle of the fight that they're all just pulling their punches. Everybody already knows that they're not going to hurt each other. And the filmmakers must have realized there's no stakes here, because at the end, they just threw in injuring Rhodey, a side character. But even that at the end had no consequence. He's just fine in the next movie. In the end, this epic Avengers fight was the equivalent of a high school couple breaking up. Everyone's sad afterwards, but really, no one got hurt. Well, except maybe for Rhodey. And now, on to the second and biggest problem, Zemo and his ridiculous plan for revenge. You know, this movie manages to accomplish something I don't think many movies can. Zemo's the main antagonist, and his plan drives the whole plot. And yet, if you removed him and his plan, the movie would be much the same. The heroes would still argue over the Sokovia Accords. And it'd be real easy to have Bucky at the center of that argument, which would later reveal that he killed Tony's parents and we've got a fight on our hands. No Zemo needed. But since we're here, let's go over that terrible plan. At the end of Captain America the Winter Soldier, Black Widow downloaded to the internet all of Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D's secrets. So Zemo looked through all of Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D's files to find something he can use to tear the Avengers apart. Because his whole family died as collateral damage when the Avengers fought Ultron. And somehow, Zemo looked through all of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra's information and hit pay dirt, learning that Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, and Captain America's best friend, happened to kill Tony Stark's parents. Talk about finding a needle in a haystack. And then, Zemo tracks down and tortures an ex-Hydra agent living in Cleveland, Ohio. Apparently, Zemo found out that this guy's holding the owner's manual for the Winter Soldier. But what if this former Hydra agent was already dead, or had moved away from Cleveland, or had just thrown the Winter Soldier manual in the garbage? That would have ended Zemo's plan right there. Then Zemo blows up a United Nations meeting, killing the King of Wakanda, and framing Bucky Barnes for it. Now the whole world's looking for Bucky Barnes. But what if one of the various law enforcement agencies, or even the Black Panther, manages to kill Bucky before he's captured? That would end Zemo's plan right there. But lucky for Zemo, Bucky is captured. And Zemo continues his plan by finding out that the UN is going to use a psychologist to interview Bucky. He finds out who that psychologist is, kills him, and then takes his place so that he can interview Bucky. Now, what if the UN decided not to use that psychologist? Or any psychologist at all? What if they just put Bucky in solitary confinement until his trial? Or what if they gave Bucky to the Wakandans? That would have ended Zemo's plan right there. At the same time, Zemo has a FedEx driver deliver a EMP on a timer to the local energy source, so he can knock out the power to the building Bucky's being held in. But what if that FedEx truck got lost, or in an accident? What if the UN made Zemo wait, and he wasn't able to get in to see Bucky at the same time as the EMP went off? That would have ended Zemo's plan right there. But the lights do go off, and Zemo continues his plan. He uses the secret words inside the Winter Soldier Owner's Manual to make Bucky tell him about the night he killed Tony Stark's parents. Also, where the secret Winter Soldier base is in Siberia. Then Zemo lies and tells Bucky that his actual plan is to revive all the other Winter Soldiers. Then Zemo sets the brainwashed Bucky loose to beat up as many people as he can. But again, what if they manage to capture Bucky again? Or worse, what if he dies in a helicopter crash? What if the Avengers decided that the frozen super soldiers weren't that big of a threat and just stayed home? What if Captain America's team lost the fight and were all arrested and couldn't make it to Siberia? What if Zemo was captured inside the UN building? All of these what ifs would have ended Zemo's plan right there. But they didn't, and conveniently, only the three heroes that were vital to Zemo's plan made it to Siberia. And conveniently, Hydra made a videotape of the Winter Soldier killing the Starks, and Zemo happened to find it. So after Zemo flirts with Captain America a little bit by commenting on his eyes, he shows all the heroes the tape. Now if Tony decided to be forgiving and shake Bucky's hand, that would have ended Zemo's plan right there. And thank God Tony didn't. Instead, he chose to have one of the best fight scenes in all the Marvel Universe. While Zemo's plan didn't exactly ruin this movie for me, I thought it was completely unnecessary and ridiculous. The number of things that had to go his way for the plan to work was pretty much impossible. However, if we needed to sit through this bad plan in order to get to dancing Zemo, it was all worth it. But besides Zemo, this is a quality story with great action and good acting. The tension being built between Tony and Steve throughout the whole movie over the Sokovia Accords really was building throughout the whole Avengers series. And the filmmakers' use of the Sokovia Accords to bring the two conflicting ideologies to the forefront, I thought was brilliant. And then having that anger and frustration bleed over into the fight with Bucky made the tension at the end of the movie almost unbearable. To the point, as I said earlier, where I thought Captain America was actually going to kill Iron Man. And that's great storytelling. Now before I go, I have to point out the excellent introduction to the MCU of Spider-Man and the Black Panther in this movie. Both will go on to their own solo movies that will break box office records. But for my money, Civil War is the best appearance of both Spider-Man and the Black Panther. Introducing Peter Parker and Spider-Man by having Tony Stark track him down is a great way to introduce Peter Parker to the Avengers instead of introducing the audience to Peter Parker again. We already know who Spider-Man is. I thought this was a great choice. The choice I didn't like was replacing the "with great power comes great responsibility" speech with this nonsense about bad things happening and there being your fault if you could have done something about it. Just say the line, damn it. Also, the action, intelligence, and banter that Spider-Man displayed in this movie reminded me of the Spider-Man from the comic books. Now this is the Black Panther I love. T'Challa in this movie is a badass. He's focused and driven, and not only holds his own, fighting Bucky, Captain America, and the Falcon at the same time. He full-on threatens Captain America to his face. Altogether, Black Panther was a complete badass in this movie. I wish he was that way in his own movie. Anyway, if you haven't already figured it out, I like this movie, even with Zemo in it.